So you would like to know how to make an animal eye in mosaics with a little help from the ancients? Well, you're in the right place. I'm Helen Miles and I'm here to teach you all the tips and tricks you need to make mosaics. In this video, I'd like to show you how a mosaic eye is created. And particularly, we're going to look at animal eyes. And when I say I want to show you how it's created, I mean I want to show you piece by piece how the ancients made mosaic eyes, and I want to take what we learn from that into looking at how we create eyes today. And when I'm talking about making mosaic eyes, I'm not talking about making a replica of an eye. I want to talk about making an eye which is realistic, but which is mosaic-like. So it's not a copy of an eye, it's something entirely different. It's an eye that works in mosaic. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. We're going to be looking at all different kinds of animals, from a tiger to fish to birds and even to a sea snake and a toad. So the principle that we're looking at, as I've said, is to see how the eye was created. And so really it doesn't matter so much what kind of animal it was or is, but how the pieces are laid to create the sense of an eye. We'll start with this tiger. As you can see, I've drawn the tesserae on piece by piece exactly as they were created, as they were laid. When you take the eyes away from the face, you can see even more clearly how the individual tesserae were laid. There are 5 pieces at the top of each eye and 6 at the bottom. However, there's considerable variation of shape within the eye. You can see that we have larger sort of semi-square pieces for the pupils. We have trapezoids or keystones in places on the eyelid and below the eye, but you also have quite irregular shapes. You have wedges, kind of triangles with the tip nipped off, and little splinters, little kind of thin bits to fill in the spaces. The key thing to look at is the change of tone in the pieces. So you have black pupils, you have black centres, and then you have a dark brown row at the top of each eye and a slightly lighter brown at the bottom. And of course you have whites, or very pale colours, right next to the pupils. Let's break down another pair of eyes, this time an owl from Tunisia. When you look at these eyes, they're not that dissimilar from the tiger. We have a black rim, a black circle around the eye, and we have obviously a black pupil. The only difference is the mid-tone, the yellow ochre pieces, which are below the eye. It's interesting to notice that although the tesserae are not very precise, they're not very accurate, you can see yet again quite a lot of variation in the shape. They're not regular, they're not similar to each other. You can see that there are more, obviously there are 2 ochre pieces on one side and there's only 1 on the other, and yet the sense of the eye, when you put it in the face, is very strong. And that sense of an eye is created by having the lights immediately next to the darks. Let's look at that now again in context. You can see the eye, you can see how rough the pieces are, but you can see that it's still very eye-like. This fish from Alexandria in Egypt is a little bit different. It's much more precisely laid. You can see that there's a black rim, there's a second inner circle, and then there are the pieces for the pupil. And of course you have that lovely little shard piercing into the area of the centre of the eye, which adds a little glitter or a glint in the eye of the fish. This fish eye is much simpler. You have the same rim, but essentially the eye is created by the black pupil and the white above the pupil. Of course, you've got the inner pieces, the red and the ochre pieces, but it's that black and white that makes the eye shine out, that gives it its eye-like quality. We're going even simpler here with this little sea snake. The important pieces are the black pupil and the two white pieces next to the pupil. There are, of course, rim-like pieces around the edge of the eye, but it's that black and white, and you can see it again here with the pigeon. When you break it down, it's the black pupil and the white, the crucial white next to the eye, which makes it stand out. We'll look at one more multi-tesserae ancient animal, and this fish, again, black pupil, two bits of white. There are midtones also next to the pupil, but it's the two, or three in this case actually, bits of white that make the eye stand apart. If you put all those eyes together, you can see that they're made in very, very different ways. There's great discrepancy in shape. But there isn't a discrepancy in tone. You have a strong black outer rim in most cases, but certainly a strong pupil and a white light piece or several pieces next to that pupil. When we look at ancient mosaics, when we look at them in detail and seek to learn from them, I always think it's important to remember that the ancient Romans or early Byzantines were working on a grand scale. They were making mosaics which covered floors or bathhouses, and so they had the space to make an eye, in this case, in much more detail than we would necessarily have if we're making mosaics for our small, comparatively small houses. So let's look at a few mosaics which are much simpler. So here we have a toad, or it might be a frog, I'm not sure. And essentially all you have is the white at the centre of the eye and a rim of black around it. That's just 6 tesserae. And again with this duck, a black centre and 3 other pieces around the eye, contrasting with the black. Here's another 4 tesserae eye. That little dot, it's not even a round dot, it's a square, white square, and 3 black pieces next to it, and it creates a very effective eye. If we put the duck and the little bird next to each other, we can see how simple they are, how incredibly beautiful they are in their simplicity, and yet how effective. We can make animal eyes which are equally effective just by taking a black squarish tesserae and cutting off the 4 corners. Surround that piece with white pieces, with light tones in wedge shapes, or otherwise known as keystones, and you get the perfect eye. And as we've seen from previous examples, the pieces around the centre don't all have to be white. You can have a mixture of dark tones, mid-tones and white ones. Simplifying it even further, you can take that same shape, the square with the little corners nipped off, and just put a few pieces next to it. So you can have an eye either looking left in this case or looking right in this case. You can do the same just with 3 pieces. This little eye is looking left and this little eye is looking right. All you need to do is have a strong black or dark with some whites next to it. I hope you found this video useful. If you liked it and you'd like to see more, then please subscribe below.